In this video, we're going to walk through the integration between Listly and Twitter list. We're going to explore what really makes a Twitter list social. So before we have a look at how it works in detail, here's an outline of the process. First of all, you must have a list on Twitter, an existing or a new list. Create a list on Listly, choose type equals Twitter, and then you get to pick that list. Let's have a look. So here on Listly, let's make a brand new list. Pick type equals Twitter. It's the first thing you need to do. And then you can pick from all the available Twitter lists that you've already created that you haven't already mapped to Listly. You can only connect each list once. Then I just need to give my list a name. And when I'm done, just click Make List. And my list gets created on Listly. So now I can click through straight to the list on Twitter, and you'll see that that list has got nothing in it right now. So just head back to Listly, and I can just type in some Twitter name, just use the @ symbol. So notice it's a Twitter identity, and I just do a quick import of those. Or equally, I could just do quick add to add some people to my list as well. And bear in mind, anyone can add to your list. That's the whole point of making lists social with Listly. So there's my list. I can scroll it and I click through to Twitter, and I can see there it's got the members of my list exactly as I created it. By integrating Listly with Twitter lists, you get a searchable, sortable, mergeable list. You can combine lists, you can sort them alphabetically, which you just can't do on Twitter. You can search them. You can't do that on Twitter either. You can embed these lists on your blog, just like you can embed anything else from Listly. And at that point, again, it's searchable and sortable. If you embed a list from Twitter, you just get the last few tweets, which is nowhere near as useful as a full people directory or a people list. The lists are crowdsourced and collaborative, so people can actually add to your list and suggest them. You're still in control because you're managing and curating that list. And anyone can add to that list whatever it is, whether that list is actually discovered on Listly or embedded on a blog. And that embedding really brings your community closer to you and gives them a chance to get involved, discover who's there, suggest emissions, etc. And that's what really makes a list social and alive. This application is built with the intention of letting multiple people add to Listly and have those changes either added to the curation queue on Listly and then to Twitter, or straight to Twitter within a few minutes. It's really not built to allow you to keep adding content to your list on Twitter, but you can re-import the list, and we do poll to check if things are added to the Twitter list, but much less frequently. The simple, straightforward process is to allow people to add to Listly and have those propagations added to your Twitter list within a few minutes. The numbers don't 100% tally up. There can be some challenges with dead accounts and duplicates, so it's a really useful process. It really is about getting your community involved with your list and understanding the process is basically going from Listly to Twitter. So here's an example of a Twitter list embedded on a blog, and it makes for great content. It's sortable content and very much searchable. So it doesn't matter how long your list is, people can search for that content based on people's names or based on people's Twitter profile information. You can search down for forenames and surnames, whatever you want. It's very useful to be able to find and organize the content inside a list. By default, moderation is set to on, which is an advanced tab setting on Listly. So when people add items to your list, they're added to the queue. And you can accept those items to the list just by clicking accept, and you can reject items in the same way and move things in and out of the queue. Items that are in the queue are not visible on Twitter. And items that are, see here we have 3 items in our list that have been accepted here, 1 item in the queue. And if we jump over to Twitter, we'll see that there are only 3 items visible, and that matches the list on Listly.